All right. Nothing like starting your Tuesday with a little Neil Diamond. Come on. If you're not excited to go win the week, I don't know. I don't know what's going to do it for you, folks. We have an awesome sales meeting this morning. And I'm very excited to get to our feature interview today with Mr. Art Obleton talking about finding the listing. So we are going to barrel towards that this morning. And before that, though, we're going to start, as we do every week, with a little conversation about our belief system. So whenever we, think about the culture of our company, there's a lot of definitions of culture out there. There's a lot of ways to explain or define culture. The personal definition that I have is it for an organization comes down to who you are and what you do. And I explain this pretty consistently as I'm going out evangelizing on behalf of our organization. And our culture comes down to, in a lot of ways, our mission, vision, values, and beliefs. And that belief system is the way that we agree to treat each other, to treat our clients, and to treat our customers. And today, I want to talk a little bit about the belief in our belief system of commitment. So this is commitment in all things. And the culture of our office and of our greater organization should permeate all aspects of our lives. I hope that it does. And so when we think about creating win-win opportunities, operating with integrity, focusing on creativity and teamwork, those are not workplace items. And I hope that we can commit to them in all aspects of our lives: personal, professional, spiritual, financial. How are our beliefs and our belief system showing up there? That's the first part of commitment for today. The second part is, you're going to hear me continue to talk about, as I have been talking about, the shift and what's coming and the challenges that lie ahead for us. I want to encourage you, though, as we get in, as we're making our way to the middle part of June here, we have this opportunity ahead of us. The market is hot. There are opportunities. There are new listings. Listings are down, but there's still a lot of listings coming on. Inventory is appreciating, more opportunities for our buyers, new buyers entering the market every day. Don't lose sight of your commitment to your why as to why you're doing this. I know working with a lot of agents and helping them, expand or just really define what it is that they want to do and what it is they hope to accomplish. Things like family and travel and fun and, charity, spirituality, those things show up a lot. And it's really easy for all of that to go by the wayside on a Thursday night that's supposed to be date night. When you bolt out the door at 7:30 p.m. to go show a house that, the listing agent just got back to you and said you can get your client in on. I understand that those opportunities are going to show up, and that those are things where you could talk yourself into striking while the iron is hot. But know that your commitment to your goals, your big why, and your bigger life that's not a destination. That's a right now. And so when you have the opportunity or you've made the commitment to do something for yourself, whether it be travel or engaging in, just some good old fashioned R&R at home, take advantage of it, commit to that. And I promise that you will be fully recharged, fully refreshed, and fully capable of delivering for your clients moving forward. And that dovetails nicely with we're doing another lap around the 12 tactics of a shift. And like everything in Keller Williams, all of our conversations, they start with mindset, right? They start with mindset. And if you're sitting here saying, Mike, you've been talking about the shifting market for months now, I'm not seeing it, I'm not feeling it. Hey, that's great. That means there's still time for you to get real, get right, get your mind right, and start acting as though the shift is taking place. If we wait for that pendulum to swing, it's too late. right? We have to start behaving like the environment is more competitive than it's been. We have to start behaving like the listings will continue to be down substantially throughout the year. We have to start behaving as though there is not another deal coming down the pipeline, because there are fewer and fewer sides that will be available throughout this year. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to sell 10 homes for the rest of the year. I just mean that we operated in an incredibly abundant environment for the last 24 months and had the biggest years in the history of real estate. That cannot continue. And so if we start behaving like every deal matters, every conversation matters, every lead generation session matters, because that's the only way that we are going to thrive through this shift, capture market share, and win. If we get that in our heads, then we can get it into our calendars, and then we can get it into our bank account. So take advantage right now of the opportunity. If you aren't feeling the shift yet, that means that, you know, it's maybe it's not showing up in the market that you're working in. Maybe it's not showing up in the microcosm of Northeast Ohio. Maybe you're not feeling it with your buyers yet, but start behaving like it's coming tomorrow, because then when it shows up, you will blow past your competition, you will capture new clients, and you will grow your business. Speaking of growing businesses, we had a monster May with so many cappers. We had 20 cappers for the month of May, complete with several first-time cappers. Let me make sure I don't miss any of these. Chris Knight, Helga, Bernadette, Brooke, and Judy, I believe, were all of our first-time cappers in the month of May. So huge congratulations to them. And then, you know, we did an interview back in December with a first-time capper named John Murchison. So John capped for the first time after being with the company for about 6 or 7 years in December. And then he reset in February. And then he capped inside of 3 months. So in about 10 weeks, John went from being a first-time capper that reset and was contributing company dollar again to 9 months of 100% commission. And so we are thrilled for John on that accomplishment, and proof that if you do it once, I promise you'll do it faster the next year. So congratulations to all of our cappers. Enjoy 100%. And we look forward to seeing you at the Capper Happy Hour later this month. Happy birthday to all of our June babies. All of these Geminis and whatever comes after a Gemini. I'm not an astrologist. But if you see somebody's name on there, please shoot them a text, drop them a note, hit them with an email, call them up and tell them happy birthday and that you're glad that they get to do another lap around the sun. And then a happy anniversary to all of the folks who are ringing in another year with Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan. So very excited to be in business with all of these amazing people for several years, and I am sure several more. So happy anniversary to all these June hires. All right, a little update on office space. Love the amount of activity and traffic that we are getting through both of our offices, bringing people together. Our teams are meeting, agents are meeting in small groups to mastermind. It is really cool. And, you know, with that comes, you know, the need for some good fences. As they say, good fences make good neighbors. And so we want to make sure that nobody's showing up expecting to just be able to pop into one of our larger spaces and use it for a team meeting, or use it for a small mastermind or a small little sesh with a client. So we have set up a room reservation system, and you can work with Kelly or Sierra if you're in River or Pepper, respectively. Use this QR code or the URL at the bottom of the page, tiny.cc KWGM rooms. Block off a space, come and use it, and enjoy knowing that it will be unadulterated by any other agents once you lock it down. And then a reminder or an update. I don't know if we've talked about this yet. We're going to hear from Jermaine Brooks next week on our sales meeting about this, but wanted to get it on everybody's calendar. Our Keller Williams Greater Metropolitan Black Realtor Network is a sponsor of the Coventry Village Juneteenth celebration. So this will be, there's a ton of activities, food, music, movies, opportunities to shop and spend money. It'll be a great event, and that's on Saturday. It should be Sunday, June 19th. I believe Sunday, June 19th is, or Saturday, June 18th. We'll get that date firmed up for everyone. But the weekend of Juneteenth, there is a celebration in Coventry Village that our agent-led community, the Black Realtor Network, is a sponsor of. So please go out, show your support, enjoy that, and enjoy spending some time with your fellow agents. All right, let's talk about some upcoming training. We have a great slate of events in June. You'll note that, you know, we're leaning in heavy on a couple. We know you're busy. We want to respect that. We want to make sure that we're not loading up the calendar and distracting you while you're running all over Northeast Ohio, locking up sales in the high point of the market. But the stuff that we're going to bring you, you are going to find a ton of value in. So we have John Carney joining our investor mastermind tomorrow in the Rocky River office. That's Wednesday, June 8th at noon, to talk about his experience as a developer domestically and internationally, and his lessons learned, insights, and foresights on what is going on in the current investment and development community here in Northeast Ohio. So if you know, you may recognize the name John Carney. His dad was the founder and is the proprietor of the Landmark Group, which is a development company that has had a lot of properties downtown and has done a ton of development work throughout Cleveland over the years. So this is going to be an awesome event, and lunch will be sponsored by our newest affiliate business partner, Truehold. This is the instant offer sale leaseback company. So they are interested in getting in relationship with you and helping educate you on everything that they do to support your clients and how you can leverage them. So please, if you are interested, we do have limited seating. We're already almost a third sold out on the event. So if you're interested and you know you can make it, go ahead and pop into the chat, grab a link, and register. All right, today we're talking about listings. Next Tuesday, we're going to talk about listings. On the third Tuesday of the month, we are going to talk about listings. So that is what we are hammering home this month. As the market shifts and listings start to fall off from a market perspective, they become even more valuable. I know it's hard to imagine listings being more valuable than they have been in the last couple of years, but I promise you that will be the case. There will be even fewer of them, and the good ones will be gold. So we are going to focus on listings this month and hammer home how to find the listing, how to maximize that listing, or how to win that listing, and how to maximize that listing once you have it. And then don't forget, every month we hold a career night in each one of our offices. Many of you have shown up to that. Many of you have sent guests, which we are so appreciative of, and want to encourage you to do that again. There is a lot of activity. Anytime real estate is in the news, you are likely going to get questions from folks about what it's like in real estate. Use it as an opportunity to introduce them to our company and to opportunities with our company by sending them to a career night. These are at 6:30 p.m. Next Monday, the 13th, will be in the Pepper Pike office in our third floor training room. And then the last Monday of the month will be in Rocky River, and that will be at 6:30 p.m. in the third floor training room. All right, and rack up your CEs while you can get them. GM Title helping us bring a 2-hour CE class via Zoom on Tuesday, June 21st. And as we talked about last week, this is a 1031 exchange class. There are several and very diverse ways to use the 1031 exchange. This is not something that commercial agents use for multi-million-dollar properties. Your client's house might be a great opportunity for a 1031 exchange, depending on what they're trying to do with it, how they want to hold or transfer that asset. And of course, if you have people who have commercial or retail-based needs, this is a huge tool for you. Knowing enough to be dangerous, knowing enough to have the conversation, knowing how to suggest this to your clients, very powerful tool in the conversation for listings and generating listings. And then, as you heard me say at the top of the meeting, we have a capper happy hour. So once a year, we like to bring together everyone who has hit their cap in the last 12 months, celebrate them, do some mixing and mingling and some light masterminding. It's super casual, but please, if you're a capper, put this on your calendar. Don't miss it. We will be at the All Saints Public House in the Detroit Shoreway. And we are it's the same place we were last year. It's a great venue. They have a great staff. They love us. The patio is great. And we have already pre-ordered some great Northeast Ohio weather. So you can come unconcerned as to whether or not we're going to have that. And then finally, for the month, we have our feature training with Eddie Donnelly. So those of you who know Eddie know that he is a very talented, very capable real estate agent. He's also a terrific presenter and a great student of everything that Keller Williams has to offer and to teach. And the core, one of the cores for Bold, for Ignite, for every KWU training is the 6 personal perspectives. And so Eddie is going to be walking us through how to leverage those personal perspectives to develop the mindset of a high achiever. So do not miss this. This is in person only, June 29th at 11 a.m. in the Pepper Pike office in the 3rd floor training room. Get your tickets now. Be there or be square. And then finally, save the date. Everybody lock down your calendar. You'll remember this event from last year. We had over 150 agents from the office out at Mayfield Country Club, where we had agent panels throughout the day, and a really, really impactful event called Summer Masterminds. So we are bringing this back. It will be July 13th. It will be at Mayfield Country Club, and it will be bigger, faster, stronger, and better than ever before. We are lining up some hyper relevant panels, some panels for the market of the moment, some panels for building big businesses, and some panels for breaking through to the next level of achievement. We will also be excited to announce, ideally by the end of the week, who knows, maybe by the end of the day, our keynote speaker for the event, who is going to be delivering a very powerful message on perseverance, on fighting through hard times, and ultimately coming out and achieving great success on the other side. So thrilled about the slate that we have coming up, guys. Mark this on your calendars. We will be releasing tickets sometime in the next 10 days. Get them immediately. Do not sleep on this. We will sell out. You've been warned. And then finally, July 29th, end of July, our annual summer cookout is becoming a summer luau. I have already started to put together my grass skirt, so be prepared for that. It's we're going to have a ton of fun out at Edgewater Beach. We've got a pavilion reserved. We'll have a big cookout, do a potluck, play some games, and have a real big time. So mark that on your calendar right now, and make sure you don't miss out on one of our most fun fair weather events. All right, over to our partners, starting with Sean and Don. Good luck following that, guys. That's all I got to say. Hope you're bringing something good with you today.
again, no transition from Mike in a grass skirt over to mortgage, but anyway, rates about as steady and stable as this transition. So last couple of weeks, or end of May, rates kind of calmed a little bit. We saw some modest improvement, well needed, and a little bit since Memorial Day, kind of taken back up again. 30-year fixed kind of comfortably in the mid fives. Hoping for a little bit of improvement here, and there's some things on the horizon that could change that. So what I want to chat about today, I just put a flyer in the chat box for PMI cancellation. This is a constant conversation that we'll have. I'll try not to go into too much detail here, but if a buyer puts less than 20% down on a conventional loan, they have PMI, private mortgage insurance. There's different forms of it, but the most commonly known version is monthly PMI. PMI is not there for the life of the loan. You get rid of it at a few different break points, and the flyer kind of breaks it down a little bit. But the short version is, if a buyer's loan is paid down to 78% of the balance, or excuse me, of the original price or value, the PMI goes away. If they pay it down to 80% of that original, a phone call petition can get rid of it. And then, of course, with the values going up, buyer has to wait at least 2 years if they're looking to use the increased value by way of an appraisal, but those are the ways around it for a single family. For duplexes, 3 and 4 unit properties, PMI breaks down a little bit different, but feel free to use this flyer for your own marketing piece or, you know, resource. And if you or Don have, excuse me, if you have questions, you can contact Don or myself. This flyer, by the way, can be templated, so I can add your information if you register for our Total Expert marketing system, which we've chatted about before. So, DJ?
Yeah, you know, PMI, you know, Carrie put in her PMA about PMI, Sean's famous class, positive mental attitude. But PMI gets a bad rap today. PMI is not expensive like it was 7 to 10 years ago or longer. It's quite inexpensive for the borrowers with the best credit. We do have ways to eliminate it, which we don't talk about much anymore because it is so, the premiums are so low for the better borrowers in a transaction. Especially with the impending recession that's coming, it doesn't make sense to buy out of PMI because more than likely a customer is going to be refinancing in the next 18 to 24 months any loan that they've gotten themselves into currently. So let us talk to the borrowers about PMI. We'll put them in the best situation. If it makes sense to eliminate it, we will. Right now, I don't think it does because the premiums are so low, and there will be a refinance time in the next couple of years here. So that's my PMA about PMI.
Good advice. That's fantastic information, because for anybody who's working with sellers and then thereby buyers who haven't bought in a while, PMI used to be a 4-letter word. And if you're working with somebody, you know, that's been 10 or 15 years, as Don said, like there's a re-education opportunity around how effective that can be for keeping assets in hand and keeping powder dry and still acquiring a property. All right, over to our friends at Greater Metropolitan Title and Escrow. How is everything in the title world, ladies?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to give a quick heads up and reminder that it is almost time for second half taxes to be due. So if you have not already got those bills, they should be coming any day, but it is kind of tax purgatory time. So just wanted to remind everyone, you will see a change in tax prorations. And if you have any questions about that, please give me a call, Tiffany a call, or Jen a call. And later today, I will be posting to the KW Facebook page all of the certified due dates per county.
Love that. Love that. That is a huge piece of information and a great excuse to check in with anybody that you've recently sold a home to. All right, Miss Gina Legeza with America's Preferred Home Warranty. Are you with us today? Maybe, maybe not. All right, over to Jess Ivins with Greater Metropolitan Management. Good morning, Jess.
Hey, good morning.
Oh, good morning to your son as well. Hello? All right, well, well,
Oh,
maybe
can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. I'll just start over. Good morning, everybody. Just a quick update on our end. We'll be sponsoring the Summer Mastermind event. So definitely make sure that you guys get your tickets for that. It was really great last year, and we'll be there to answer any questions you have about property management. And with that, just continuing my saga on the lead paint program. Still get a lot of calls from you guys, so feel free if you have any questions at all about the program, reach out to me, and I'll certainly help you as best as I can.
All right, guys, if you have any investor clients and they are ignoring the lead-based paint program, or they're confused by it or intimidated by it, please take advantage of tapping into Jess. Let her help you help them. There is there's a major headwind there if people don't have the support and assistance that they need to navigate it. So please take advantage of that offer from Jess. All right, before we roll over into our feature interview of the day, I want to kick it to Miss Julia Cumming for a quick update on something that we talked about a month ago. I want to provide an update on our update on the updates to our contracts.
Morning, everyone. I just wanted to update you on the purchase agreement. Andrew Ginter gave a fantastic overview of the updates and changes on May 10th on this meeting, and the purchase agreement is now available in Dotloop. We are still waiting for the approval of the mapping of the different fields from DocuSign, but for those of you who use Dotloop, you're going to see the new purchase agreement is in there. It's in the sales packet. It is in the Loop template. So please update your own individual templates. If you have an alternative transaction fee, be on the lookout from me to send that to you as well. But otherwise, we're excited that the new agreement is in place. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
All right, awesome. So appreciative to have that one across the finish line. Some impactful, powerful changes to help protect you and your clients in that update. So shout out to the Forms Committee for helping rack that through. All right, now we are gonna bring to the main stage Mr. Art Obleton. So Art, camera on. Can we spotlight you? And I'm gonna stop that share so everybody can get a good look at you, Art, while we talk a little bit about your business and this idea of finding the listing. So, you know, if there are any agents out there who don't know you, which I'm sure there aren't many, want to make sure that get a quick rundown of, you know, who you are, how long you've been in business, and you tell us a little bit about, you know, your transition into a listing agent.
Thanks for having me on, Mike. Art Obleton Jr., as you just said, been in business for 8 years. I have a degree in business from Kent State. Was working, had a difficult time finding a really good job, very much so underemployed. So started with a spiritual journey, read my Bible, praying, and find out how to solve this problem regarding my finances, and got some divine inspiration about becoming a realtor. I was a realtor before, didn't work. So I was a realtor from 05 to 06. And when I got the idea, impression to become a realtor again, I didn't want to do it because I failed when the market was great. And so I eventually did it, and I started working the business, getting buyer leads. I actually bought buyer leads from homes.com, Zillow, realtor.com, and I started working with buyer leads. So been in business for 8 years, primarily been a buyer-based business for 6 years, and decided to start really getting into working with the listings when I realized I was on the wrong side of the transaction, like in 2019, 2020, when I was getting so many multiples and being beat out. And it's like, you know what, I really have to change this. I have to change this. So yeah.
Yeah. So you see, we're gonna unpack how you made those changes and what that snowball effect has looked like. But let's kind of skip to the end of the story here. How have listings helped you grow your business, gain more leverage, and give yourself time back? Right.
Well, if I can share something real quick, like to put it in perspective, I ran some numbers for myself. And from January 1st, when I really started in January 2014, when I got licensed in 13, January 1st, 2014 to December 20th, to December 31st, 2020, I had done about 212 transactions. Of those 212, not 191 of them were buyers.
Wow.
Okay. 20 and the numbers don't quite match up. I don't know why it's like this on MLS, but 25 were listings. So out of the 212 transactions, only 11% were listings. So from just last year, January 1st to now, I've done about 55 transactions, and 35 of them have been listings, 66% listings now.
Wow.
And this year we're at of all the transactions we've done, 70% listings this year.
Year to date, 70% listings.
Yes.
And if you've never had a listing before, anyone tuning in, listings pay Art, do they pay more or less than buy sides?
They pay more.
They pay more now.
They pay more for less work. And like they say in business, a lot of times the hardest working are the least paid. And I had realized that, so I had to adjust, and I had to not mistake activity for accomplishment.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and it's easy to be busy in this market, right? And I mean, I know we had a conversation just about how run down you can get on the buy side if that's all you're doing, right? If you're a pinball all throughout Northeast Ohio.
Right. I was excited. Of course I'm excited about real estate, and I was so excited. And it's always, it was great to go out and go show a house, and it's the activity, it's the excitement, it's the search, the helping the client. There was a time, I think in 2018, I showed a house to a client, never met them, showed a house. They weren't even pre-approved, Mike. They weren't even pre-approved. I just asked them, what's your credit score, get an idea for where they stood with their credit score. And the score was high enough. I figured I can get them pre-approved. Showed them that one house. They liked the house. I called my loan officer on the way back home, connected them with the loan officer. No, I contacted the loan officer before I went to the showing. Mm-hmm. I told the loan officer while there that he liked the house. By the time I got home, he had them pre-approved and said, you can make an offer. Made the offer on that one house I showed them, and they got the house. That's not this market now. And it was one of the more pricier homes I sold at that point. So,
yeah.
And I sold the house they moved out of because they just asked me to list it.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, we talk about it's important to shift ahead of the market. And I think that whether intuitively or by good fortune, or just pure exhaustion, made the switch into being a listing agent around the time that it was most valuable from a time, energy, resources, and arguably a mental health standpoint with how crazy the market has been. But, so you'd make this decision, you're going to be a listing agent. That's great. We talk about mindset, we talk about manifesting things, but what was the first thing you started doing? I'm going to be a listing agent. What were some of the things that you rolled out, or you put on your calendar, or put on your to-do list rather, to generate listings?
Well, one thing I did is it was towards the end of 2021, And I think, no, the end of 2020, and I was exhausted and we were talking, and I think I've done like 30, 35, 38 transactions. Of course, most of them were buyers and overwhelming majority. And you said, Art, I think I was actually thinking about quitting the business. I mean, this was exhausting, right? And so you said, Art, one of the main reasons you told me, one of the main reasons you're so fatigued is because you're so heavily involved in each transaction, emotionally involved, writing offers, not getting accepted, showing houses. You're so emotionally involved in each transaction. And so the mindset shift is very important. And we talked, we had a meeting, we had a lunch, and you went back and shared some things about just contact your past clients, and contact those investors. And so my coach shared the same things too. And mindset is so important because now I'm getting, even in a market like this, remember the overall majority of my transactions were buyers. So what I'm doing is going back to them and asking them, hey, do you want to list? It's a great opportunity to list. And so I'm getting those listings, and I'm getting their listings, I'm getting their friends' listings, I'm getting their investment property listings. And it's the whole mindset what I share with you. Like if you think in terms of a beige Camry, if you just say, well, you have a beige Camry or whatever, you just think about a beige Camry, you're thinking about buying one. Now, all of a sudden, you start seeing these beige Camrys on the road. And so you just have an eye out for that. Subconsciously, you're looking for it. So I'm having listings where people are calling me and asking me to list. And of course, I'm doing my lead generating and generate those listings too. But you open it up for yourself to receive those listings and get that type of business. And the thing is, do you market yourself as a buyer's agent, or do you market yourself as a listing agent? And so listings take longer to develop. You have to work with them long. I mean, you should go on a listing appointment. They may not be ready to list their house next week. It may be 2-3 months from now. So that's why the buyers gave me the steady income. Buyers, and the market I was in was faster money. But at some time you follow up, the fortunes in the follow up, you'll begin to get those listings and they'll come on the market. And listing this market, like Jake said, is a sale.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. The fortunes in the follow up, and to snap up a buyer and to run them all over, that's a form of follow up. But to stay in touch and to keep your sellers on track for hitting a listing date is a very powerful form of follow up. I want to hit on something that you shared during our Ignite session, one of the Ignite sessions earlier this year, about how you're using data and technology to focus your lead generation on likely sellers. So tell us a little bit about how that works, how you got into that, why you consistently do it.
Okay, there's I shared on the Ignite HomeSnap. And with HomeSnap, you can go type in an address. You can type your own address in, and it'll show you HomeSnap Pro. It is, and it'll show you 3 categories. If you scroll down, show you 3 categories: least likely to list, likely to list, or most likely to list. And so I have gotten or researched certain zip codes, and what I'm doing is I'm farming those zip codes based upon how likely those sellers are to list their home. And so we're sending postcards out to those addresses. Another thing is what we're doing is there's a powerful truth about going on vacation. Go on vacation, get out of town, you come back in town, and something better happens in your business. And so I went on a vacation and just went out of town and came back and met with Eddie Golden. Had to sit down meeting with me, and he shared some things about me to me about offers. And what offers is, it's a system where you can get this data, the names, address, phone numbers, well, maybe not the phone numbers, get the data, and it'll show you how likely these people are to list their house from a score, they give a score from 70 to 100. Okay, and I give that score, and you can target them with postcards and follow-ups, and it shows you about the income you will make over a 12-month period. Now, what's so interesting is I started it, but I didn't keep that program. But what I did is I bought out of it because it's kind of expensive. I bought out of it, but I negotiated that they will give me their data. So they gave me that data with the number, with the how likely those people are to list, from 70 score 70 to 100 being almost certain to list their home in the next 12 months. I bought out, got the data, and then we reach out to those people. And with those, if we don't have the phone numbers, we just like, I think it was Jordan said, fastpeoplesearch.com.
Yep.
I have a system where I can do, if I get a listing in a certain street, I can look up the addresses, the names, and the phone numbers for people on that street, a couple blocks over and so forth, and begin to circle prospect for that listing. And we could possibly sell that listing before it hits the market to the general public. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Who doesn't want to pick their neighbor, right?
Right. So we do that, and like you call them and say, "Hi, Miss Seller, would you like a chance to be the first one to take a look at 123 Main Street before it comes on the market?" So we do that, and so we have that. We have, and another thing I have going now is HomeBot. HomeBot is a very good tool. My mother mentioned that Sophie did a presentation on HomeBot. Oh, she mentioned HomeBot. And so what HomeBot is, I put my clients in there, all those buyers, my admin put all the buyers in HomeBot, and it sends them an email giving them the value of their home. I give the value of their home. If they're interested, they click on it. But whether they're interested or not, I'm going to follow up with them.
Yeah.
So I have one listing right now under contract, because he called me about a couple months ago, said he's having some challenges financially. And so put him in HomeBot, and his value came out. And I called him. I said, "Hey, you're having these challenges financially. Your value, you bought the house for this much. Now, I mean, Zillow was saying that there was this much, and and I mean, Zillow isn't what we base our values on, but it's an idea. They're looking at Zillow, and so listed the house and sold it for much more than what he thought he can get for it. So he bought it for one price in 2020, and he's selling it for 62% more than what he bought it for. And he was having financial challenges. He walks away. Him and his wife are going to walk away with the funds to pay off all their debts, of course, pay the mortgage off, and they have money that they can put in savings.
That's outstanding. I want to unpack a couple things that you talked about there, and then I want to talk a little bit about maybe a situation that we can get ourselves into based on an example that you just gave. But so, first thing that you're doing is you're tapping into mindset. You said, I got to become a listing agent. I got to start talking, walking, acting, presenting myself like a listing agent. You hit some success. You captured some listings from some past clients. Then you started to lean into and explore other tools to narrow the lead generation pool. Now, if everyone goes back and watches our conversation with Jordan Shoger about farming, the farm isn't everybody in Bedford Heights for you, right? Art, it's the people who have a 70 or higher on the offer score, or that are HomeSnap saying are most likely to list. That way, you're getting the highest return on investment on your resources, because you'd never be able to farm all of Bedford Heights, right? And why would you want to? You want, your return needs to be measured over 12 months, not 12 years. And then when you get one listing, you try and turn it into a double-sided deal or more listings, right? So often, and not naming names, not calling anybody out, but so often agents grab a listing and they're spending the check because they know it's going to be off the market soon and they're good to go. And we've got a whole segment at the end of the month with Larry Wonky about maximizing that listing, or excuse me, next week with Debbie Garson about maximizing that listing while you have it, to get the social credibility of being a listing agent and generating more listings. So that's terrific. Now let's go with this example that you just gave. Individual buys their house 2020, sells it for a 62% gain. I am not a tax professional. I don't believe that you are either, but any astute seller is going to be concerned, like, hey, have I been in my primary residence long enough? Am I going to get dinged with capital gains taxes? Like, what's going to happen here? How do you navigate that? Where do you send people? What's the resource that, if I sold somebody a home last year and it's worth 25% more this year, how do I help them sell it?
Well, I'm not a tax professional. My parents had a tax service business. They wanted me to get into business. For whatever reason, I wasn't too thrilled about the business. I told my father once, I said, well, my parents also they were insurance agents too. And so I just told him recently, I said, Dad, you and Mom had businesses that a lot of people didn't want to talk about, taxes and insurance. Real estate is a happy industry, is a happy business. Everybody likes real estate, knows something about real estate, think they know something about real estate. Everybody just talks real estate. So it's fun. So this client, and I've done it for more than one, but this one's a perfect example. He bought his house in June of 2020, like June 10th, 2020. Like I said, he had challenges. And so come back, list the house, sell the house, and it's going to close. And after he signed the listing documents, after he signed accept the offer, him and his wife, I went in my car and said, oh man, where did he buy this house? I got to look it up on the county auditor site. Bought it June 10th, and he's going to close June 29th of this year. And I said, that's perfect because he owned the house as a primary residence for the last 2 years. Out of the last 5 years prior to selling, he does not owe capital gains tax on those funds. It's a tax exemption. So for someone who sells their primary residence, a single person who sells their primary residence, they're tax exempt up to $250,000 on those gains from their house, and up to $500,000 if there's a married couple. So, and there's an article on that, and I send the article so they see it from the professionals. And so, and Carrie just dropped it in the chat. So I send that to him, and I have another client that's coming up, and you see, he kind of knew about it, and I just clarified it for him. But so what I'm doing also is anyone who sold before, say about earlier 2020, before like in early part of 2020 and before, I'm calling them back and telling them about this tax rule and tell them this is an opportunity. Would you like to sit down and discuss the opportunity you have with your house? Now, some people will say, well, who will move in 2 years and why would somebody do that? Well, you know what? There are different situations with different people. I never knew this guy would have a challenge with his finances, and it was a perfect situation for him. And somebody can go from a point where they may want to take advantage of the market. We've had the best gains in the history of real estate market, in the history of real estate on record. So we had those gains. So there's a great opportunity for somebody to take advantage of that. I have done it twice. It's ideal. Single person, no kids. You just you can make a decision to move if you like. If the gains are there, if it makes sense. I've done it twice, and I've used it to upgrade my community, my house. And everybody has to start somewhere. So it's an opportunity to take advantage of it. And like I met my CPA last year, he said, you don't owe taxes on this money. He confirmed it too.
Amazing. So everybody who's listening, let's say you've got dozens of, you've been in the industry for a few years, and you've got a dozen or more people that you sold a house to sometime in 2019 or 2020. The opportunity here is to go and say, hey, did you know that if you sell your home because it's been your primary residence and no capital gains taxes, great opportunity, as Art said, upgrade your community, buy a bigger house, buy a different house, whatever you like. So there's one. I would say anybody who bought in, there's also an interesting we don't expect home values to go down in the next 12 months. They will start to level off in the front half of next year, right? But we don't, the supply and demand equation is not going to allow home prices to come down, despite, it's unlikely that it would, despite an economic cataclysm. They're not going to. So I would also say, who are all the people who bought in the, from July to December in 2020? Those are the folks to start having the conversation with, to buoy your listing inventory for Q3 and Q4, right? Hey, did you know that you'll be in your house 2 years and a day on September 3rd? Would you consider selling? I'll go a step further, Art. Let's say that you wanted to start working in a community. You're like, hey, I've always wanted to sell, Cuyahoga Falls, and I haven't been able to break in. Could you go on the county auditor's website? Could you find out who bought their house 2 years ago in a day?
Absolutely. You can, and I share this in the night. You can go in the MLS, look at the past sales, find out, make sure those say if you go back 5 years or longer, or like you said, 2.5 years, and look up the past sales and give them a call. And hi, Mike, Art here with Keller Williams. Just want to give you a call, letting you know that I see you bought your house in 2018 for a certain amount, and now the value is about so much. Would you like an opportunity to sit down and discuss your home? And so these are Zillow values I'm giving you, but I can show you comps, real value, and show you the net sheets, and show you what I can do to sell your house. And you get to their house, and you're in the door, and then you can begin to unpack some things about how it can help them, the market, the market itself, the low inventory, the low interest rates. The low rates are still low. And then you talk to them about you tell them about the tax law. And a lot of these people are living in a bank, but they don't know it. Or they're in a bank, but they don't know how much is in the safe. And you have to share this with them. I'm not trying to push them to sell their house and just get out their house to make $1. But no, there's some things, and people have different situations, and they can take advantage of a $90, $100, $110,000, $120,000 net check that's tax-free. And they say, you know what? I was thinking about moving to Florida all along.
Yeah.
Example. Sold a lady a house in 2016 in Richmond Heights for $125,000. She did some upgrades, not much, kept the same dated cabinet, same dated bathroom. Lady sold it just last year for $245,000 and walked away with a net check over $100,000. Moved to Atlanta, where my sister was a realtor. So, so and of course we all know that's tax-free money.
Yep.
And so people want the help, and we have to figure out how to help them in a way that they just present it to them. If you just present it to them and say, you know what, there's a way we can pull this deal off, and they start thinking themselves as to how to get it done.
Yeah, and I think this ties so well back into what you said initially. Sometimes, as we underestimate what we know or how much we know, and that doesn't show up as like, oh, I don't know anything, I'm dumb. We assume that everybody knows what we know, right? And you said that people are living in a bank and they don't know it. I mean, the appreciation that we've seen here in Northeast Ohio is absolutely uncharacteristic for the area over the entire span of our existence. If we were in Portland, Oregon, or in Sacramento, $100,000 gain in your property value over the course of 18 months is kind of expected. It's the only way you can keep up with the taxes, right? But here, no one, so many of our buyers or previous buyers or potential sellers would ever think that there's a check coming for a home in Richmond Heights that I've only owned for 5 years, right? So I think don't assume that your clients know everything. Don't assume that you don't have the answers or that you can't find the solution. And I love what you said. You show up with comps, you show up with a net sheet, and you show up with how you're going to get it done. That's amazing. Art, last question for you. Bring it home. biggest lesson learned as you are a listing agent, right? 70% of your deals this year, and 66% of the last 18 months are listings. What are your biggest lessons learned? Like, what are your takeaways on, hey, if I would have started this sooner, my God, I'd be 100% listing agent.
Well, when I begin to list homes, well, as we know, as buyer's agents, that the phone rings a lot. When I begin to list homes and start getting into listing, it's like when it first started, like, hold on, I was in my office, like, my phone's not ringing. What's going on? And so it dawned on me, hey, I have listings now. And so with me having listings, I have more time to leverage myself. So I thought the last thing for me to start a team was being able to have confidence as a listing agent. So started a team, and kudos to Bernadette, who allows me to works with the buyers, and she's becoming more listing focused. She works with the buyers, so it allows me to focus on listings. What you focus on will expand. And so now it gives me time to start the team, to help her, to help other agents, to do more, to help structure things, opposed to just doing another transaction, looking to run another buyer, looking to run another transaction. So it allows me to step back and begin to think about the business and begin to do the business and from a managerial perspective, opposed to just doing more transactions. So the leverage to give me my time back to do more business.
Leverage is something that we talk about a lot as an organization, and we teach it. What is it like when it really hits? Like, what is it? How does it feel? Try and describe. You've built a great business, and you're doing the things that you love, spending time with people and helping people. But like, how does the leverage feel in the moment?
Freedom. One word, freedom. Yeah, freedom. A lot less stress. You get the listing. It's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't want to be an order taker on a listing appointment. But I never forget Jermaine Brooks shared something once, and he was very important when becoming a listing agent, because he said something once. He said, "Why would I go around with buyers when I can just get listings, and I can get listings?" And he said something. Even if a seller wants to overprice a house, okay, Mr. Seller, we'll agree to this price, but here's sign, I forget, the price reduction form or price improvement form that in 14 days we'll reduce it to this amount. And so this way, he doesn't even have to call them or follow up with them. If it's not sold, well, and that was in that market 14 days, but if it's not sold, then the price automatically reduces, So just, because you're going to put it in MLS and change it with it already signed. And so doing that and being around people who have bigger businesses and sharing and getting ideas from them and learning from them, it just helps me grow to become more listing focused, a listing based business, so I can teach other agents, the agents on my team to be more listing oriented.
I love it. Now, Art, I also know that you are you're a great teacher, and you help a lot of folks on your team and just throughout our company and truly throughout the real estate industry in Northeast Ohio. If somebody was compelled to spend some time with you, buy you a cup of coffee and pick your brain on this stuff, how would they reach you? How would they get in touch with you?
They could email me on Art Obleton Jr. at Gmail. You can email me. We have they can go on our website, the AO Group Homes.com. So Facebook, I can put my phone number. Send me a text, 216-482-9035, 216-482-9035. So, okay.
All right, that's fantastic. Well, thank you, as always, Art, for being willing to step to the front of the room, tell your story, teach others, and help us all build bigger businesses. I want to really strongly encourage everyone to take Art up on, sorry, Art, I'm going to gobble up all your time here, man, but take advantage of this. I know I see several people on the call who I know have spent time with Art that he's helped either with listing presentations or contracts or just that ever so important mindset. So Art, you're a great example of our culture and everything that we do for each other and for our clients, and really appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad to be a part of the Market Center. Market Center doesn't have to help me grow my business, but it helped actually improve my life too. So I'm very appreciative of that too. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, gang, we ran a little long, but I know it was worth it. Have an awesome week. Go exercise, commitment, and all things. And we will see you tomorrow if you're joining us for the Investor Mastermind. If not, next week with Debbie Garson on how to maximize the listing. Thanks again, Art.